Tonight, another drive-through coronavirus testing clinic opens in Whyalla. And as South Australia's border shuts, Broken Hill's mayor calls for the city to be exempted.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. In breaking news tonight, anyone who attended a meeting with Senator Rex Patrick in Cummins on March 17 has been urged to self-isolate and get tested if they develop symptoms of coronavirus. SA Health reviewed footage and determined they had close contact with the senator, who tested positive for the illness. It comes as the first coronavirus testing clinic opened in Port Lincoln today.
Not even the Eyre Peninsula is immune from the pandemic, with one case of COVID-19 reported in Whyalla. Health officials are now trying to stay in control of the growing disease by opening a drive-through testing clinic in Port Lincoln and Ceduna.
Coronavirus is now creeping down the Eyre Peninsula. As you know, we have some in Whyalla. There's been a potential exposure in Cummins, and I think as people feel, become more worried about it, I'm sure that we'll get a lot more presentations.
Port Lincoln doctors have reported a spike in the number of patients being tested for the virus. Senator Rex Patrick, who toured the Eyre Peninsula and met with farmers last week, has also tested positive.
Every GP I know has done a few referrals, so yes, and I guess that will increase, especially as the guidelines for the testing change on a daily or weekly basis.
The new clinics hope to curb the spread of the virus by isolating patients in their car while doctors swab for the virus, reducing the risk of human transmission.
If they come in, they're considered infective until proven otherwise. And if they get out of their car and come in, they actually run the risk of infecting anybody that they come in contact with.
Around 9 cases are being presented at Port Lincoln Hospital each day, with that number set to rise in the coming weeks. Despite public fear growing around the virus, doctors say you'll need to get a referral from your local GP before you're allowed to access the clinic.
We really don't want to swab people to treat their anxiety. We would really rather swab them if they're in a high risk group and there's a likelihood that they could be coronavirus.
Doctors are urging locals to wash their hands and maintain social distancing. Health officials say they're confident in the government's measures to contain the disease.
The testing level in South Australia is higher than any other countries, so we do have a really good picture of what's going on with the coronavirus.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
As of 4 p.m. today, South Australia's borders have been shut to help prevent the spread of coronavirus. However, Broken Hill's mayor is calling for the city to be exempted, saying the town has stronger connections to Adelaide than Sydney.
Today saw South Australian borders shut down as the state tries to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Under the new measures, all people who travel to SA from another state will have to place themselves in self-quarantine for 14 days upon arrival. Travellers will also have to provide details to SA Police about where they are staying. Officers could potentially conduct random checks to see if they are following orders. But Broken Hill's mayor is asking for the city, 40 kilometres from the border, to be exempt.
So that our community can still access healthcare, that family can still have access, and that for education, that while universities or TAFE are open, there is an opportunity.
This afternoon, SA Police provided an update to exemptions to the border restrictions. Transport and freight services, emergency service workers and health services will all be exempt. The mayor saying it's good to see those seeking essential medical treatment also given the go-ahead.
When you go to Adelaide, you're not going just to see a GP, you're actually going to see a specialist for high needs. And that was our concern, and certainly for the community of Broken Hill.
Also among those exempt, people who possess critical skills to maintaining key industries. The city's strong number of visiting mine workers clear to come in and go out.
The positions that fly in, fly out are actually specialist positions in mining. They're not about the everyday miner, they're actually the high-end call in for contracting for certain roles.
Exemptions have also been made on compassionate grounds. The mayor says it would be ideal if locals could visit family in SA without the need to quarantine. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
New restrictions have come into effect in hospitals around the region. The Flinders and Upper Health Network are limiting visitor access during the coronavirus pandemic. Patients will be permitted a single visitor in their room for 30 minutes. Visiting hours will also be adjusted, with visitors only permitted between the hours of 1 till 2 p.m. and 6 till 7 p.m. at all sites. All must practice hand hygiene on arrival and departure of the hospital. There will now be greater support for hygiene in South Australian schools, thanks to a new funding boost to help stop the spread of coronavirus. The government announcing a significant increase in cleaning in all public schools, with potential for cleans during the day. A new dedicated supply and distribution team has been set up to ensure no school is left without. These new contract measures will be in addition to a $5 million investment that will see extra supplies in schools. And a reminder, if you need more information on the coronavirus, call the national hotline on 1-800-020-080. Information is also available at the New South Wales Health, SA Health and Federal Health Department websites. Those links can be found on our Facebook page. Still to come tonight, 2 Wyler politicians confirm they've been tested for coronavirus. And another drug driver caught on our roads. Welcome back. A 43-year-old man from Cowra has been reported for theft after he allegedly stole an elderly woman's purse at Cleve on Saturday. The woman was shopping at a supermarket on Main Street when she placed her purse on a shelf to grab an item. It's alleged he then stole the cash. After viewing CCTV footage, police were able to return the money to the victim. The suspect was issued with a barring notice from the supermarket and will appear in court at a later date. An Arno Bay man has been reported for drug driving after he was pulled over by patrols near Tumby Bay just after 10:30 yesterday morning. Police stopped the vehicle on the Lincoln Highway, submitting the driver to a drug test. The 29-year-old allegedly recorded a positive reading to cannabis and methamphetamine. Further checks also revealed the suspect's car was unregistered and he was defected for having non-compliant lighting. The sample has been sent away for forensic testing. He'll appear in court at a later date. Wyler's mayor has received a negative coronavirus test result. However, the city's state MP has entered self-isolation. Claire McLaughlin and Eddie Hughes took the actions after coming into contact with Senator Rex Patrick last week. Mayor McLaughlin was completely asymptomatic, but immediately entered self-isolation and contacted her doctor. Eddie Hughes, who also met with the senator during his visit, has since been self-isolating and was tested today. His office will remain closed until further notice and will reopen when it's medically safe to do so. Council urges the community to continue to practice social distancing and good hygiene practices. McDonald's is offering free drinks to all our healthcare workers to say thank you for their efforts. Healthcare workers will need to be in official uniform and show ID cards to receive either one free small McCafe drink or a medium soft drink. Paramedics, doctors, nurses, GPs, aged care and home care workers are all eligible. The company says it's rallying together to help our hard-working locals through this pandemic. Anyone working in a local hospital or caring for patients can receive the free beverage. Police are hunting an arsonist after a suspicious grass fire on the Eyre Peninsula yesterday burned 40 square metres of vegetation. Port Lincoln Police received reports of a fire in scrubland on the Flinders Highway near Wangaree around 5 a.m. yesterday, with the CFS quickly putting it out. Investigators have deemed the cause of the fire as suspicious. The suspect is described as being a Caucasian man aged in his 50s. Anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000. Stay with us, we have all the action from this year's Tuna Riviera Classic. And St Pat's race organisers reflect on the 2020 running of the event. Dozens of anglers from across South Australia have hit the water in Port Lincoln over the weekend for this year's Riviera Tuna Classic. The competition forging ahead despite the outbreak of coronavirus, which has forced the shutdown of several other big events.
A shotgun start for 24 strong boats competing in this year's Riviera Tuna Classic.
In a time where the world's gone a little bit crazy, it's good to get out on the water, have some fun, and that's the only place I think where your troubles seem to pass away.
Anglers from across Australia took to the water in Port Lincoln over the weekend for the annual event. The competition forging ahead despite the coronavirus outbreak, which has already claimed several other big events across the region.
It was probably the last sporting event that got away in South Australia before we've shut down. Hopefully, this sorts itself out pretty quick.
It was all eyes on who could catch the most bluefin tuna, anglers keeping a record of their catch before releasing the fish back into the ocean.
It was tough fishing, really tough fishing, but everyone worked hard and travelled around and didn't give up, and we ended up with 145 fish.
The coveted award for heaviest fish was won by Layla Jane, the tuna weighing in at 15.8 kilograms, just 300 grams separating first from second.
Weighing on the beach was close. The heaviest fish was probably the closest we've seen for many years now.
David Buckland, crown champion boat for the second year running, successfully catching 45 tuna.
Fish were better size as well, they were a lot bigger. We just got out there lucky they were there, and they took the lures, and it was all good.
The angler says his local knowledge of Port Lincoln's waters helped secure the victory, dropping anchor at Roslyn Shoal, a hotspot for the iconic fish.
The tuna seem to gather there this time of year when the water's warm.
This year's competition a much needed morale boost for concerned anglers, as the future of the event is now left in uncertain waters.
Everyone's obviously concerned with what's going on, and it's our last weekend of fun by the look of it for a while.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
2 northern cotton irrigators have been convicted of stealing over 3,000 megalitres of water from the Barwon-Darling River. The water theft took place in January 2016. Water New South Wales claiming the pair breached their licence. A gauge on the river near Burke displayed a flow of between 2,500 and 2,800 megalitres. The irrigator's licence stipulated pumping must cease if it falls below 4,800. The pair pleaded not guilty, claiming the gauge was inaccurate, but the State Land and Environment Court found them guilty. They have 28 days to appeal the ruling. Phone giant Telstra has been inundated with calls due to COVID-19 restrictions, causing delays in service. As more residents begin to work from home, the company says customers will now experience delays getting through to customer service teams. A number have complained online about phone connection and internet speed issues. The company is currently offering unlimited data for customers during the pandemic at no extra charge until April 30. Well, it almost didn't go ahead, but organisers say they were very lucky that it did. 1 week after the 55th anniversary of the Broken Hill St Pat's races, the racing club says it would have been in dire straits if it was cancelled last minute.
Thousands together at the Broken Hill racetrack just days before a ban on 500 or more person gatherings was enforced.
Fingers crossed, we get rid of this COVID-19. We can start planning for next year in the next few months.
While crowd numbers were down by a few hundred people, the racing club says everyone had a great day. Looking back on the event, a number of new additions were well received. The trackside ticket areas were sold out weeks before the day. Same goes for the Radford Pavilion. The addition of live music really adding to the festivities.
If you keep adding to your event, people will not only support you, you'll get new people will come as well.
Mr Schmidt praised the Radford family for donating the new hub bar section, giving general admission crowds a smorgasbord of beverage options as well as shade.
Pims, we mentioned CC and Dry, we had our wine bar in there, we had Iron Jack in there. It was hugely popular, it's a massive area, all undercover. Trackside view.
On the track, the racers had good fields with fast thoroughbreds breaking records across the day. The inaugural Leprechaun race also really getting the crowd pumping. Mr Schmidt says it's new additions like the Leprechaun race and bar facilities that give racegoers a different St Pat's experience every year. Adding the race club was extremely lucky the ban on mass gatherings came into effect after the event was held.
If it had been a week later, it would have been a huge financial loss for the race club, and it's something that would have taken years to come back from.
The racing club says it will soon set up a survey asking this year's racegoers for feedback about the day. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll check this week's fuel prices. And Alex Sykes will have the latest weather details. Hello again. The Broken Hill Tennis Association has announced it's cancelling all competitions due to coronavirus, making it one of the last sporting codes to pull the pin in the Silver City. All current season fixtures will be suspended, the association president saying the club down will remain locked until further notice.
Pubs, clubs and licensed venues can't operate anymore, so yesterday I had to pull the pin on tennis in Broken Hill.
It's not all doom and gloom for local players though. The association is looking to hold social hits across the coming months, provided social distancing requirements are met. Time now to take a look at how things are shaping up when we head to the Bowser. Here's Patrick Reinke in Broken Hill with this week's edition of Fuel Watch.
Well, crude oil prices have hit an 18-year low this week, which has seen petrol prices across our region continue to plummet. The ACCC says it will be monitoring retailers and will name and shame those who engage in price gouging. To the averages now, and starting with unleaded as always, Port Lincoln has had a sensational week, falling out of the 130s and down to 127 a litre. However, it is not the cheapest price in the Spencer Gulf. That honour stays with Kadina after it saw a 7-cent drop down to $1.24. Whyalla has seen a small 2-cent drop from 136 to 134. Remarkably, Port Augusta motorists are still paying quite a lot to fill up, 145 down from 147 last week. Port Pirie doing very well after observing a 3-cent decline. Broken Hill is down 2 cents and hovers on $1.40. Adelaide is hitting prices not seen in years. City drivers shocked to see unleaded going for under $1 a litre. Turning over to diesel now, and all the board is green. Kadina remains as the cheapest place to fill up and the only Spencer Gulf town to be in the $20s. Port Lincoln is the second cheapest in the Gulf at $1.33. Port Pirie not too far behind on $1.37. Whyalla and Port Augusta are both on $1.39, Broken Hill 2 cents dearer at $1.41. Adelaide doing very well, seeing a 5-cent drop down to $1.27. Finishing off with a quick look at auto gas, and there's 3 green arrows this week. Port Lincoln the first, seeing a 1-cent decrease to 91 cents a litre. Broken Hill also saw a small change down to 94 cents, the same range as Port Pirie. Elsewhere, Whyalla is still on 93, Port Augusta and Kadina on $1. Adelaide recorded yet another week of declines, the average now 83 cents. Now remember that these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do find a spot that does sell unleaded, auto gas or diesel for cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Weather now, and it was a cool and at times wet day today. Here's Alex Sykes with the details.
Thanks, John, and good evening, everyone. There were a few showers across northern areas today. However, skies were clear in southern parts of our region. Port Augusta reached 19, Whyalla was 20, a shower and 21 in Port Pirie. Broken Hill partly cloudy and 25, and it reached 23 degrees in Adelaide. To the satellite, an extensive cloud band across central South Australia is responsible for the showers we're experiencing. Skies are clearer in western parts thanks to a high pressure system. Looking at the waters for tomorrow, southeast winds reaching 15 knots, seas between 1 and 2 metres, and the sun will rise at 7:22 with sunset just before 7:20. Sunny conditions tomorrow, Port Augusta reaching 25, Whyalla and Clare both sunny and 23, Port Lincoln 21, Coffin Bay 22, Woodner, Quorn and Kadina all reaching 25 degrees, Broken Hill sunny and 26, Clare 23, Cleve partly cloudy and 21, and Adelaide a top of 22 degrees. Looking ahead to the next 4 days, partly cloudy in Port Lincoln until the weekend. 23 Thursday, 26 Friday, rising to 32 by Saturday. Cleve, sunny and 25 on Thursday, 28 Friday, 33 Saturday. And sunny in Woodner for the next few days, 28 Thursday, 30 Friday, 34 Saturday. Sunny and 25 degrees in Whyalla on Thursday, partly cloudy and 27 Friday, heating up to 32 by Saturday. Clear skies in Port Augusta, 28 Thursday, 30 Friday, 33 Saturday. And in Kadina, 26 Thursday, partly cloudy and 28 Friday, 31 Saturday. Fine and dry in Port Pirie, 27 Thursday, 28 Friday, 31 Saturday. Similar conditions in Clare with a top of 23 Thursday, 27 Friday, rising to 30 on Saturday. And clear skies in Broken Hill, 25 Thursday, 28 Friday, sunny and 30 degrees on Saturday. And that's all for tonight's weather. John, it's back to you.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have some updates later. We leave you now with some pictures from the weekend's Tuna Riviera Classic in Port Lincoln. I'm John Hunt. On behalf of the team, have a wonderful evening here on 7. Good night.